realize that you can get better at mastering them through the different experiences that you choose to go through. If you're like you choose to feel the way that you do, and you have 100% control over the way that you perceive different situations, based on whatever's going on around you. It's simply a reaction to whatever's happening, I guess.
Yeah, something that I've learned about emotions recently too is that it's unique to like our reality here. Like extraterrestrials and people like in other experiences, they don't really experience emotions.
Yeah, they probably experience it differently.
Yeah, it's just yeah, definitely feel it a lot differently.
Yeah, I feel like emotion can also help you drive, like can also drive you to be more successful and like motivate you to want to be able to do certain things and like
Oh, for
aspects of
sure.
life, you know?
Yeah, emotions have the greatest power. Like they're the driving force of all actions that you do. Before we start this, a couple deep breaths, get in the present moment.
Yeah,
I want to get to the deep breath.
I guess it's just me and the boys tonight. It's the
You're
boys.
one of the
always
boys.
is.
You
I
are one of the
really
boys.
am. You're not wrong, Jake.
That is facts.
There you go.
Yep. Out of all the girls in the chat, I am one of the boys. That is true.
I do have a question though. How do you guys work with your emotions?
Journal.
You journal?
So,
I
What about
don't,
you,
but
Sunny?
this would be a good way to do it.
yeah.
Like how do
be
you
conscious of,
structure it?
be conscious of what you're feeling. Try I feel like if you're feeling a lot of like negative emotions like anger.
Yeah. But yeah, Sunny, how do you work with your emotions?
Yeah, definitely. In the past, I've always tried to almost like logically process the emotions, which is not really what you want to do. Like I'd always try to break down the emotion, try to figure it all out. You know what I mean? But that's not really what you're meant to do with emotions. You're meant to more feel them. So what
Yeah.
helps me is I'll definitely focus on my breath too. Whenever like I'm starting to feel like a negative emotion come in,
Slow down the
breathe
breathing.
in. And then I'll ask myself, like, is this emotion even mine? Or did I like pick it up from somebody else?
Yeah, we were actually we had like a very like high energy state, and then we met these people who were just like a very like low like energy, and then we just it was insane like the
Yeah,
drastic
today when we were
difference.
hiking. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's almost like we could feel their emotions.
Yeah.
And then after we were just kind of like
Yeah, like I had to like shake that negative energy.
Yeah.
I was like not negative, but like
So
lower.
definitely conscious breathing is the thing that helps me a lot whenever when those emotions start to flood in. What about you, Mikey?
Yeah. How
How
do
do
you
you
deal with
process your emotions?
Huh?
How do you process your emotions, and like how do you like if you're getting negative emotions, how do you process that?
One of the ways that I process my emotion is literally as soon as I'm feeling some type of like trigger within me. Most of the time I'm unconscious about it, so I don't really know the thought that I'm feeling, but I feel the feeling. So what I do is I actually sit down. I ask myself, wait, why am I feeling this? What's causing me to feel this? And I tell myself, well, it's not, because this is where I always mess up. Is I always think that the experience is causing my suffering when when I'm not aware that it's actually the way I'm viewing the experience. So if I would actually take my attention off the experience and just place it with my awareness, then that's exactly what I need to do. So I lay down, I take some breaths. I usually do 4-4-4, right? When I'm just like, because it'll just get me right back to the present moment, because I think that's where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So if you're placing your attention on the breath and you're flowing it throughout your body, then it makes sense that you're going to be balanced into the present moment. So I think that's where exactly we're just understanding self-awareness, self-inquiry is so important when you are stressed out, because if you're not aware of what's going on, well, of course it's going to reoccur and it's going to continually experience. So if you don't take the steps to be aware of it, embrace it, and then accept it, because a lot of people say, let's just accept this, right? But what is acceptance, right? So it comes with first being aware of it and then embracing it, and then you can accept it, because you can't accept something that you don't know where, like you can't aim for something if you don't know the targets. You must embrace it, acknowledge it, and then accept it. So that's what I do, right? In my mind, I play with my mind, because sometimes, and I'll know a lot of people, they have feelings, but they're like, why? Like, where's this feeling? It's because a lot of people are unconscious about what they're feeling. So I always like to return to my breath, because I know that the breath is that is my power. That is my
Same here, dude. Same here.
Facts, yes.
Breath is always the power.
It is. It's literally a superpower.
Yeah, no, literally just stopping and then like breathing will literally just like bring you back to like,
It centers you.
yeah, I do this like I had to do it today because literally like one of my like what is it called? Like students or whatever, like one of the guys that like I'm working on the house with dropped a 2x4 literally on my neck, and it like my whole neck, and it literally just like hit my like arm and everything.
Oh
And
my
obviously it's just
God.
like I'm like super thankful to have like the helmet, because it's the helmet that just like made it boom and then slide after. But yeah, normally I'd be like, yo, come on, man, like what the hell? But like I was just like, yeah, you know, I'm fine.
Yeah, especially whenever you like whenever you stub your toe.
Ooh, that's a
Oh,
different type of pain.
those
I'm like,
emotions come in quick, and I'm like, whenever like I stub my toe or something like that, like I feel like it's always like a negative emotion. It just
Yeah,
hits me really
you
well.
always just gotta
It's a lot of
swear, bro.
Yeah.
I think swearing, there's like a psychological factor to swearing. It like relieves like stress, sort of.
Oh, definitely. Like the word fuck.
Like you stub your toe, bro. You just swear. You're like fucking shit, fart back.
Yeah.
I'm just like
It's so
going crazy.
relieving too.
Yeah.
Definitely clears the throat chakra a lot.
Yeah.
I would say a way for me, when it comes to processing emotions, is the first step, just in my own experience, is I have to feel it. I need to
Yes.
feel those lower vibrations. I need to be able to fully digest and process exactly what I'm feeling, and to perceive the situation in its entirety in order to then work it out later. So that could simply just be, looking at and like this is completely subjective, of course, too, but it could be just like looking at a given situation, be like, okay, did I perceive that correctly? Blah, blah, blah. Then from there, I would then react to it. So that would either, I could cry, I could, whatever it might be. And then from there, I would, of course, for me personally, like, it's almost like I need to talk about it. Like, I need to like get it out. Like, I need to be like, I would, go to like a friend for advice or something. And like, maybe like they would be able to, help me work it out somehow. And like, I find that like advice and talking to others and connecting with others that you really trust can be really helpful when working out your emotions, especially people that really have your best interest at heart, whether that be like a family member or a friend. So, and then as you're working that out, you need to ask yourself, like, is this emotion based in reality? Is it up here?
Yes.
Or is it out
That's
here?
very important too.
You
Because
know?
we can completely make up a situation inside our own heads, and we can feel that
Yes.
emotion.
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like if I'm thinking, for example, say I have thoughts of like my girlfriend cheating on me or something like that. You can feel those emotions that you would feel as if your girlfriend was actually like cheating on you.
Right.
oh yeah, you can definitely build a scenario.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
recreate
just
it,
how
figure it
that
out.
shows just how powerful your emotions can be.
Right.
So if you're able to, so whenever you get into those positive thought patterns, you feel those positive thoughts as well,
Mhm.
which then in turn becomes your reality. That's what you
Right.
experience.
Right. So I think that's probably the best way that I process emotions is I feel the feelings that I would initially feel after something happens to me, which causes me to think to think those negative thoughts, whatever that would be, or those negative emotions that I would be feeling. So just feel it first, feel it all the way through and digest it completely. Two, I'm somebody where, like I said, I need to talk it out, whether that be a friend, your mom, your dad, your therapist, it doesn't matter. Like, I feel like I need to express it, I need to talk it out. And then from there, while you're talking it out, ask yourself, is this thought, is this reality, does it exist up here or does it exist out here? And based on your answer, that's how you go about a given situation when trying to navigate your emotions.
For sure. Emotions play a very big role in reality creation too, like
Totally.
manifesting and all that too. Because whenever you're
Gotta feel it.
manifesting, what I try to do whenever I'm manifesting is I put myself in that emotional state as if I already have it. Like
That's
say
what
I'm
you have to do.
manifesting $1
Yeah,
million.
that's the best way to
That's what you
manifest.
have to do.
Act
if you
like
wanna
you gotta
manifest.
literally wear it. Act like you're $1 million if you're trying to attract that into your life, and feel that emotion. Try to feel as just try to picture yourself like on that yacht or something like that,
Yeah.
Hell
and feel
yeah,
it.
that private jet.
and it eventually becomes your reality.
Yeah, what I like to do is like obviously I've never like had like a private jet or anything, but like I
We
get
will.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We will.
I love that.
We will. I already got us a pilot, Tim. Don't
Huh?
worry. I already got us a pilot, man.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I believe it. I believe it.
I do.
What I was saying is like I'll try and like sometimes when I'm manifesting, I'll try and like put myself fully in like also like in a good mood. So like I'll also put like music and stuff that like gets me to like kind of imagine and get myself into like the scenario that I want to be.
Yes, yes. Music is a good tool to
Definitely.
get you in that vibration.
Very true.
I
Yeah.
agree with that fully.
Yeah, it's also good for emotions with our
Good
topic.
for the soul, you know.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
You guys know that like state of awe? Do you know what I mean by like the awe state?
I have the one state
Where
of
like complete bliss, complete bliss.
Like looking out across the horizon at Cooper's Rock.
oh
Yes, like you're looking at that very pretty sunset, and you're just in complete bliss.
yeah.
That right there is what I found is a great time to visualize what you're trying to manifest. Whenever
Oh,
you're feeling that emotion of bliss and visualizing that, it's a great manifesting tool.
In terms of visualization, right? I think that's the key right there. But I think your personal reality creates your personality, right? So I don't think you can go out of your way to create something if you're not at that energetical match, because the universe doesn't respond with words, doesn't respond with wants, it responds with who you are, responds with vibration, responds with energy, right? So if how you think and how you feel creates a state of being, it must make sense that in order to create something, right, you can't be waiting, because if you're waiting, you're not creating. I don't understand why people, oh, I'm waiting for this I'm waiting for a healing. I'm waiting for this possibility to collapse in my
They gotta let go.
reality, right? Not understanding that it's you already have everything you already want internally, right? Your internal world
Oh yeah.
right, is just a reflection of what you have externally, right? So if you can continuously create a new state of being every single day, and you can feel an elevated emotion with a clear intention, right? You can have a target of where you're going to aim, like I said earlier. Well, it makes sense that the universe is going to give you exactly what you need, but you can't create a new personality if you're living by the same emotions that you were living from your past, because how are you going to create a new as I said, personality, if you're still living in the record of the old self, because the old self is living in that old reality. So in order to create a new personal reality, you're going to have to become so conscious of those unconscious thoughts that you were thinking, so you can create a new personal reality. So that's why I think just creating a lot, some people get a little mixed up when it comes to, just because I know a lot of people on TikTok, just visualize it. Just go sit in your room and you can have whatever you want. And I think if it was just that easy, well, goddamn, we would all be
I'd have a lot of stuff.
We'd be on different planets right now.
right. It's like
Yeah.
Literally.
Be on Venus, bro.
100%. So it's like, yeah, I want to tell you guys, yeah, you can create your personal reality, right? You can do that, but you gotta work. You gotta literally invest time in yourself, and you gotta
It's
know.
so important to take action on it too, because all that you're visualizing all this stuff, it's all in higher realms, higher dimensions, other dimensions. But how this reality works is you actually have to go out and do it and bring it into the physical.
You have to.
Yep.
That's the most important part, because it's one
I-
thing
I feel
to
like-
feel all the emotions and all that, and visualizing and getting in that state of bliss and all that, but it's very different from actually doing it. That's what allows us to complete the manifestation process. Ties all
Right.
loose ends.
Yeah, you almost need to like align yourself with what you see up here and bring it out here. And you can try that in many different ways depending on what you're doing. It all completely depends, but I I don't know. I feel like you just have to start. You just need to take action somehow, some way. And if that fails, okay, well, at least you went for it and at least you tried. What did you learn from it? And how can you, try to manifest that more successfully the next time, as you try to go for the thing that you want.
I tried is a lot better than what if.
Yes.
Exactly. Like you actually have to try and you actually have to go for it in order to actually try to reach exactly what you want. And if you fuck up, okay, like that's fine. Maybe try it a different way. Try another method, try another, doesn't matter what it would be, but you need to attempt to align yourself with your manifestation, with your desire, with what you want in order to get to the place that you want to be.
Yeah, I think you can learn more in failure than you can with success. Sort of like you learn,
Exactly.
you have to
You have to
think
fail to
about
know
it.
what it's like to succeed.
Yeah, exactly. You can't succeed without failing. That's
I think that's the problem with society. I think that's the problem with society is nowadays society is obsessed with just instant gratification, just instant
The instant dopamine rushes.
it's
Yeah.
just a dopamine rush when you're watching a comedy show, or you're on your phone and you're doing inappropriate things, right? And it's just it's so crazy to think that, well, and a lot of people in this world, the number one reason why they don't create, in a sense, right, is because change is really hard, and people don't want to people don't want to change, right? So a lot of people will try to meditate, and they'll talk to me about, yo, Mike, like, I've been trying to meditate. Oh, cool. How many times you meditate? Well, I tried once. It just doesn't work. And it's like, well, guess what? You're not gonna get it the first time, right? You're not going to get it the
Very
Yeah, I
first,
true.
say that one all the time.
gotta
That's
keep
the one
doing it.
I'm just like,
you're not gonna get it
man,
the first time.
so many excuses.
Mhm.
Your egoic mind, your ego has been running the show for your whole life. Do you think you're just going to step in and say, well, hey, I'm in control now? You got to understand that you're only 5% conscious, right? And you're 95% subconscious. You don't have a chance against when you're battling your subconscious mind. So then this is what I always tell my for the people that can't meditate. Well, I tell them this. Well, I tell them that they're a victim. They're basically a victim to their own environment, because if they sit down, right, and their body says, well, you got to go get your coffee, you got to go to work, you got to go organize pages for your kids, do all this, all right, and your body says you got to organize the website, you got to check your phone, you got to check your emails, you got to go on Twitter, all these things, because your body's been running the show for all these years, and then you're trying to sit down, you're trying to have that one moment to yourself, right? And you can't get beyond your body, you can't get beyond your emotions, because your body has been running the show your whole life. So you sit there and you say, well, what am I going to do? And I think the best thing to do at that point is, no, you're going to stay here, and you're not going to get up until I tell you you're going to get up, and you're going to sit
I love it.
meditation. You're not going to tell me what to do, and you're not the mind, I'm the mind. And you're going to tell your body what your mind intellectually understood. And that's how you take control of your life. You don't say, you know what? Oh, you want to go get your coffee? My body wants to go get his coffee. And then you play victim, because you're so attached to that identity of that personal reality that you have. How are you going to create a new reality? You're so attached to your identity. So if you sit your body down and you say, oh, my body wants to get up. Well, I'm aware, just like we've been talking about at the beginning of the podcast about self-awareness. Well, I'm aware that my body wants to get up. My body's giving all these sensations, these emotions, these feelings that are uncomfortable, but I'm sitting here and I'm not going to get up until I'm done my meditation. And you're going to spend 20 minutes of you. I need you to sit here, and you're not going to move until it's over. I don't care if my heart's pounding onto my chest. I don't care if you give me a chest pain. I don't care if you give me a sensation that's bothering me. You're sitting here until I tell you to get up. And that's how it is, because I'm in control. You're not the mind. I am the mind.
I love it, Mikey.
Period.
That's a mic drop right there.
I think also too, like, even going off of that, I think people are so afraid to fail.
Yes,
Especially, like
100%.
when they try new things. I remember my high school psychology teacher told me, fail stands for first attempt in learning. And I think that's like such like a great way to look at it. Because I think when people hear the concept of failure, or when they experience failure, I think that they get so, like, it's such a blow to their ego. And that's not true. It's just
Yeah, we're because in
you're
society wants us to be perfect, like perfectionism. It puts it out there through social media and all that.
and
Oh,
like
it's just
I think
it's so toxic.
it's perfectly okay to fail, like especially
Oh,
when
it's
you're,
amazing to fail.
you know, especially when you're like a beginner at something, because it shows that like you tried and it shows that you put in the effort to at least, you know, at least just give it a shot, you know. But I think like, you know, because people are so attached to this 3D reality and people are so attached to their egos that if they think, oh, if I try and I fail, people are gonna, you know, laugh at me, people are gonna make fun of me, people are gonna judge
Yeah.
me. And I think people, and again, because they're so attached to their ego, they're also afraid of judgment.
Yes, I felt the same way whenever I first started making TikTok videos. I was so afraid of judgment from people
Totally.
around me. But you just gotta push through it. You can overcome it. It's just your mind
Easily,
playing
yeah.
tricks on you.
Fuck what other people think.
Yeah. You will always be criticized by someone doing less than you, not someone doing more than you.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Always.
People's that's what holds a lot of people back is other people's opinions, right? Like, here's the thing about like what I've changed my perception on people that come on my TikTok channel and spread some hate to me. I actually love those people because I changed my perception. Now before it would really bother me. But here's the insight of it. Those people have bottled up emotions that they haven't dealt with. I feel bad for them. I want them to feel love. I hope they feel love. I hope they feel the feeling that resonates with them. And they're coming to my channel. They're hating on me to project what they have inside of them. That takes a lot of energy. And I feel bad for you. And I honestly I hope the best for you. And I hope that you handle your own emotions and you're it's not you, because I'm sure you're a pure beautiful soul. If you were to deal with all your problems, you'd be an amazing person, but you've programmed your brain to be a victim, so you're going to continuously project it on others because that's your reality. So I feel bad for you, and don't project it on me. Guess what? I've changed my perception on it, so now you can no longer.
You know what I've realized? How anxious our generation is. There's so much anxiety in our generation. I was just talking about this with one of my friends the other day. And oh my Lord, it's insane how anxious kids are. It's not healthy at all. It's
number one in the world right now.
Oh, they use the word anxiety so much too, which literally makes
Oh
it
my.
hard, because once you start using those words, you put yourself in that vibration.
Yeah.
Highest it's ever been. Depression, anxiety are the highest it's ever been.
Ever.
And I don't understand. We have this rectangular phone that is go to say has all the materials and stuff that will help us and make us feel happy, and we have all this freedom, we have all this pleasure, but yet we're still in this place of misery. We're still in this place of lack because society is too comfortable. That is why we and touching on just with the whole theories of how men are supposed to just be toughen up. They're supposed to toughen up. They're not supposed to show their emotions, right? And I think that it's even with the media being talked about, it's getting more pushed out. That type of topic is getting so pushed out that it's like it's common for men to feel an emotion and just suppress it. And that's where I think people that have the most anxiety have problems suppressing grief. Because what happens is they feel that grief comes and it comes in a different way. It gets put out in a different way.
What's up, Lumina?
Lumina, welcome to the Vibe Sesh.
Hi guys,
What's
I'm
poppin'?
sorry I lost track of time.
And no worries.
No worries.
We're just talking about how fucked up our generation is, like with anxiety.
Oh yeah, dude, that's so generational. Fuck that.
Oh, I know. Right?
Yeah, like it literally just got handed to us in our DNA, but the good news is that it's just energy, so we can just transmute that shit.
Yeah, that's definitely one of our missions here, like as a generation, like our generation, to clear out all that anxiety.
Wait,
It's gonna take a lot of work.
It is going to take a lot of work because a lot of people place their whole identity on that anxiety, on that label.
Oh, they really do. They
Yeah, it's almost like being put on a pedestal, and then
understand what I've been going through. I have all these emotions. Guess what? Everyone has a story. Everyone has their own type of. Everyone has to walk some dark trail in life. Everyone has to get to a point where they learn, to where they suffer. And it's like, are you gonna place your whole identity on that suffering that you feel?
Right.
I ain't. But I used to.
and perfectionism definitely causes a lot of anxiety as well.
Totally.
Yeah, I think it's
Especially-
obviously also tied to all the social medias and comparing.
Oh
yourself
yeah,
to all
the
those-
instant dopamine hits whenever you're scrolling through, And then
Yeah.
whenever you're just going about your daily life and you're not getting that instant dopamine and instant gratification, it can make you anxious
Can make you anxious.
Definitely.
because
I
you're
think
like
also-
searching for that, and you're like, you know.
Yeah, I think also like living like in the present moment kind of gets rid of like that anxiety sort of for
Oh,
me at least.
100%.
But yeah, when like you break it down just like frame by frame, you're not really worrying too much about like what's like other people are doing, what's making you anxious, sort of like your triggers, and you're able to like find that like for like if like you get anxious about like if somebody's like Snapchatting you, like have you realized like how stupid that is? Like who gives a fuck like who you're sending pictures to back and forth? Like that's so fucking stupid. You should just worry about yourself and put energy into yourself instead of trying to
Impress other
instead
people.
of just
Snapchat is so
sending
fucking dumb. Also,
Snapchat.
yeah.
Snapchat's an interesting platform.
Also, Tim touched on perfectionism, and I just wanted to
Yes.
give my 2 cents on that. This is very like oddly specific, but it definitely like affected me in a lot of ways, just like in my childhood. Specifically when it came to dancing, I started dancing on a competition team in like 4th grade, and I did competitions from 4th grade all the way up until senior year. And a big part of being a competition dancer, and when you're putting a dance together, is like everybody has to be moving at the same time in the music. Like the lines in your dance and your formations have to be absolutely perfect. If you're going to do a turn sequence, everybody needs to be turning together. So that was a big thing, you know, like right around, you know, your childhood, kind of in that time of year, like 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
That's like a big time where kids are impressionable just in general, but just for me, and especially in that time where I was really transforming I guess like my art and dance, and as I was just like learning a lot more and opening myself up to this new possibility of becoming a competition dancer, that was a big thing that was drilled in my brain of like really all of our brains of like this needs to be perfect, and if it's not perfect we're going to lose points, and if somebody fucks it up, well then
Yeah,
it's
not
your fault.
like
That's why we didn't
programmed
win.
you. It programmed you.
It completely it programmed all of us. And although I'm extremely grateful for my experience and my time as a dancer, and I had so much fun competing, it is one of the like highlights of my life, and just my life as a kid, just into, you know, like a preteen and a teenager. Like that was like some of the highlights of just my young years. I'm still young, but you get what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
But you're 100% correct. Like that kind of programmed my brain, and now kind of in these, you know, times of, you know, now I'm in college and I'm still studying dance, I notice a lot of those perfectionist tendencies affect me now, because now, you know, when you're in college, you're kind of going from, you know, at your home studio dancing for a team to now in college taking dance and taking that art into your own hands and purely dancing for yourself. But based on how you trained at your old studio and how you got your roots in the ground, that's going to then affect how you're going to continue to train as you pursue dance. So I find a lot of those unhealthy perfectionist tendencies affecting my art now. Very like specific, but when you mentioned,
You're conscious of it though,
perfectionism,
which is the best part.
yeah,
You're conscious of it.
Yeah, no, that helps a lot. At least recognize it.
right.
And I used to be pretty perfectionist too. And I'll still catch myself sometimes as well. Like just because those are like super old programs, but they're just so well programmed into my brain that I just like, you know, still
It's very hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard to remember.
And like here's the thing with like perfectionism is like we only have the theory of, and like that's with like a lot of things in the universe too. Like there's nothing that truly exists. We only have the theory of, the concept of, the idea of. So we have like the idea of perfectionism, but what really is perfectionism? We only have the concept of that. We don't
What
know
you
exactly what it is.
perceive it to
And
be.
also, right, and perfectionism could look different for everybody depending on what perspective you're looking at it from.
Yes.
Yeah, but that also ties to a lot of things. Like
Yeah.
same for like happiness and just like a lot of other
Yep.
things. But
Completely subjective.
yeah. But perception is pretty much like everything.
Absolutely.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I always like also, I know this is still like not fully on the emotion subject, but like I'll still like actually I kind of forgot what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
I don't know
Edit
how
it
that
out.
It's all
Don't
good,
worry.
Tim. You're cool, Tim.
I had something in mind and I was like, oh, I said the emotion thing and then it just
No. And honestly, too, like this all kind of branches off of emotions because
For sure.
like we kind of have like this like overarching umbrella of emotions, and this is just everything that comes to mind, just streams of consciousness that fall under this grand topic. So even if it's not entirely about emotions, like that's perfectly fine. At least I think. I don't know about
No, I agree.
you kind of orchestrated this whole thing,
Oh,
but
I
yeah.
agree. No, I agree.
Okay.
It ties together. We're all right.
Yeah, I see it as almost like a seed. And
Yes.
if you don't give attention to those negative emotions, the seed grows.
Mhm.
And it grows bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mhm.
And it could have just started off from one small little thing.
Mhm.
One small little trigger, but it can grow into something very massive. It could grow into a massive, like a big fear.
Exactly.
Just from that one little seed, just because you didn't take the time to process that emotion, it grew big and it created a fear out of it.
Mhm. And then after that, I said, from there, like I always find, just like for me personally, I always find it helpful to like talk through it with someone, especially somebody that I really, really trust. It could be just like I need advice, or why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? And regardless of the way that you feel, it's 100% valid. I feel like that it's always like important to just like come back to that and just realize like, hey, like how I'm feeling right now is completely okay, even if it is a lower vibrational state, or even if it, you know what I mean? Like just remind yourself like, hey, this is okay to feel the way that I'm feeling. And also getting it out and talking it out with someone, I think is incredibly important. And
it's
then
definitely something I've struggled with.
Right. And then like
because I put all these expectations for myself. Like I put myself on this pedestal. I'm like, okay, I have to be this. I have to be this. But that's actually what's fucking me up in the end. Putting all these
that's the idea of
expectations on myself.
perfectionism. Once again, that's how that comes in. You're like, this needs to be perfect, right? But then I also touched on, as you're working through because I just find like if I can kind of like bounce my feelings off of someone else and then they kind of spit different things back at me, then it helps me to kind of work through exactly how I'm thinking and feeling. And then from there, I just thought like, okay, is this feeling based in reality? And does that reality exist up here, or does that reality exist out here? Because these two things are very different, at least I think, and in my
different
experience. So that's how I said how I process my emotions.
You can literally create a fear out of just one thought. Like a massive fear can. It's so important to take a step back when you feel that negative emotion. Take a step back, deep breaths.
The breath is everything. But just on like what we're
breath is lit.
And you also don't have to. You have to like realize you don't have to associate yourself like with that like feeling, like that thought sort of. Like say you're having like Sonny and I have said like sometimes we've had like schizophrenic thoughts sort of, and like it's just like very like relieving when like you just deassociate with your mind sort of, and like in those like negative thoughts, and you're just like take a step back and you just like become the observer of your thoughts instead of just letting your thoughts control you.
Yeah, it's super easy to get caught up in those emotions, those negative emotions, those negative thought patterns. It's so easy to get caught up in them. It's so important that you find time to take a step back and simply just watch it all in front of you instead of becoming it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love psychedelics for that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Working with my emotions, especially like past trauma and all that. This is like when I get like next level emotional and like I cry a lot, and it's like the biggest relief at the end.
Yo, touching base on what we were saying before about just anxiety and depression. I want to go around and just kind of get everyone's perception on why do you guys think anxiety and depression is so high just in this generation? Like
social media for sure.
Definitely.
Social media is like the biggest projector of that sort of like you see like all these like famous Instagram models like Kylie Jenner, and you're like, oh damn, like she's hot, she's got nice curvy body and nice face, like why the fuck do I not look like that? Like
even if you're not thinking it like consciously, subconsciously.
Yeah, exactly. You take that in, you're just like, damn, she's hot. And then like you go look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, damn, I don't look like her.
Yeah, and you see these guys posting pictures like on big yachts and stuff like that with a bunch of girls around. And then like kids are like damn, like I wish like I could do that, but I can never be that. They think they can never be that because it's put on a pedestal like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're portrayed like they're not human sort of.
Okay.
Also what I think too is I think parents have a very big big impact on that as well.
For sure, bro. For
Because
sure.
parents just having like these big expectations for kids as well. Like I know a lot of kids in my school that their parents put all these massive expectations on their kids that they're not going to live up to that, and they might not even want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let them
That
be,
thing-
man. Just let
yeah.
'em be.
And that creates anxiety.
You know,
Like,
I
it's-
think it's even more extreme. Like I feel like the way we're wording it is just scratching the surface, because something I noticed recently is that what used to be behaviors that people exhibited if they had experienced trauma in their childhood is now normalized behaviors.
Mm.
Like, I mean, like hypervigilance, codependency, people pleasing, the list goes on. And that used to be tell all signs that that person had experienced trauma or had like a parent with a personality disorder. But now that's just regular behavior that people in our generation exhibit. And I think that that's really a sign that something is not good. And it definitely, social media is the root. I think, you know, in the end of the day, anxiety and depression is a symptom, especially anxiety. Anxiety is literally, it all goes down to 3 fundamental fears, right? There's the fear of failure, abandonment, and death. All fears go back to those. And each one of us has one of those predominantly in our person, because we all have to have some deep-rooted fear in this lifetime to help us learn more about love, right? Because fear is the opposite of love.
Oh,
The
for sure.
problem is that we can't constantly be experiencing failure. We're not failing in every single thing every second of the day. We're not constantly getting abandoned every second of every single day, and we're not constantly dying every second of every single day. So subconsciously, our mind is going to find ways for those fears to manifest so that we can interact with them. And I think that it's actually quite disturbing that when these fears come out and we start interacting with them, that what is happening in society and what's happening on social media actually has began to make them come true. And now people are literally exhibiting signs of being a person who has experienced trauma. Let's say you have a fear of failure. You go on social media and you realize you're fucking failing. Everything you wanted to be, you're just not doing it. You're literally at that point getting that rubbed in your face every single day. That's trauma. That's literally actually trauma. We have a traumatized generation.
We do.
Yo, this
And
is
that nothing is being done about it.
Our whole
Nothing.
generation is also extremely just scared of everything.
And this is why. It's because we should be able to allow these fears to manifest, and then, you know, it doesn't get taken that far. Like your parents help you with it, or you fucking see a psychologist, whatever it may be. We should be allowed to manifest these fears and let them come out and work through them and transmute them. But that's not happening. Instead, when they get brought up into reality, they stick, because that's the world we live in. It is unsafe. It's all women are unsafe all the time. Literally, like probably 50% of the women in the world sleep with their lights on. Like, it's scary as fuck.
Yeah.
It's the fears are real. To be frank, they're real. And by brushing it off and saying, you know, we just have anxiety or whatever, that's not true. We're
And
experiencing
anxiety is just
every
becoming
day.
so normalized. Like it's
Exactly.
You
No,
know?
it has been.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that.
I'm not gonna lie, I find it a little bit like irritating, but like I also have to like see it and put myself in their shoes. The fact that they're just using it without really knowing
Yes.
much.
yeah.
Because like I'll be hearing it all the time, like videos and stuff. It's just like, oh, I have too much like ADHD or anxiety or just like stress, so I don't have time to like meditate, like just like excuses like through the roof. And I'm just like, at the time I'm like, well, no, you do. You just like I like think the way I think, and then I'm like, oh no, I gotta like put myself a little bit back and be like, this person doesn't meet the way I perceive things, you know. But
Yeah, 100%. I think
have to be understanding of people.
I think one of the biggest causes of just why anxiety and depression is so high is how comfortable society is. So yeah, we have a rectangular rectangular shape, our phone in our pocket at all times. We can use it whenever you want. Get that pleasure. We can go. We can. There's so much things that they're pushing out. Vaping. They got.
Oh, all the nicotine and all that. There's so many people that are addicted to it now. It's so bad.
Exactly.
I know.
Overusing drugs. We got guys watching all these Pornhub sites. All this type of escapism. That's the number one problem with a lot of people in this society is we escape the way that we're feeling a lot. And I think the way the hero is born at the darkest part of the journey. And I think the only way to live this life and to live it to its fullest have to suffer. Like and not suffering as changing your belief on suffering, but because I think there's wisdom, changing your belief on suffering, right? And using that suffering is going to be wisdom in the long run, because you cannot grow, right? You have to start honoring the dark situations for revealing your light, because sometimes the light can be blinding. And what I mean by that is that if you're in the light for too long, you won't know where to go. You don't know where to go next. You're too comfortable. It's too easy. And that's why they say bad things happens. A lot of bad things happen to good people, because they continuously grow. And with these people that are living a so-called perfect life, and they get all these perfect circumstances, and they're living free 24/7, they actually have a curse that's actually bad. And it might feel to them that they're living a perfect life, but no, they can't grow. They can't involve their soul. They can't live their soul purpose. They're so lost. They're so attached to their identity that they can't become greater than their own emotions. So that's why society is so drawn to this comfortability. Nobody wants to go get out of their comfort zone. Nobody wants to, go on the vegan diet or treat your body right. We can go eat some McDonald's. We can go I can feel good after. I'll feel good eating it, but I'll feel like shit after. But a lot of people would rather feel good eating it than actually feeling good after. They care about that temporary pleasure, right? And then
The dopamine rush.
escapism. We can just escape our problems, and that's the number one society. That's the number one problem with society.
You have to go through darkness to be able to see the light.
I always tell somebody, if you want to grow, you have to suffer. No one in this chat, I promise you right now, maybe you've grown a bit from positive events in your life, but I guarantee those dark situations you've had in your life, you have grown so much. You have become the person that you are right now, because those dark it's not the light situations, those positive situations all the time. Yeah, they're good, they're fulfilling, but it's those times where you didn't know where you're gonna go next. You didn't know what the direction you're gonna head.
I completely agree with you, Michael. It's like a seed, dude. It's like the seed. The seed starts in a dark place, and then it sprouts out to be this big, beautiful thing.
You have to see. How are you, you get placed in some uncomfortable situation. You've programmed your body to be so comfortable. So it makes sense that when you have an uncomfortable situation arise, you're going to react in fear and in shame and guilt and victim. We're going to then we place this victim mindset on ourselves, right? Well, I'm this way because of that person. I'm this way because she did this to me. I'm this way because I watched this. No, you're that way because you can't get beyond yourself. You are your biggest enemy. And here's the thing, high stressful emotions are highly addictive, right? Stressful emotions are highly addictive. A lot of people are addicted to their own emotions. So they reaffirm their addiction to that emotion, and they place it on the event outside of them, because they say, well, something outside of me is causing me this. Something outside of me is causing this pain, this discomfort. No, it's you. You are the only person that's causing you that discomfort. It's a hard pill to swallow, but you are your biggest enemy. And that's where you guys gotta and society has to understand, is that take accountability for what you're experiencing. And if everyone took accountability for what they're experiencing, embrace discomfort, we wouldn't have a problem, because everyone they program their mind to be able to handle tough situations. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's definitely a more in-depth,
discomfort part.
more of a detailed way of saying, like, kind of what I said with the whole, like, you have to feel your feelings and go through like those dark places and those dark emotions in order to, again, get where you want to be. And that, and then from there with the whole what was the other thing that you said,
Discomfort.
Maggie? Discomfort.
Oh, I was gonna relate to that one after, but that was like,
I know I said a lot.
Yeah, no, it was a lot to take in, but yeah, but no, I think that was a very like more like in-depth or detailed way of saying you have to actually like feel those feelings in order to get to where you want to be and get out of those emotions, those like negative thoughts that are keeping you in a lower vibrational state.
100%.
I don't get, okay, I don't get, that's what I think is weird, is that why is light glorified and dark a necessary evil? Why can't they just both be necessary things that we feel neutral about? It's like, you're right, it is about embracing discomfort, but I also feel like we're applying good and bad constructs to two necessary things, and that makes us uncomfortable when it wouldn't have to be uncomfortable if we took a neutral standpoint to it
Yeah,
and
we
just had an awareness of it. And that's what being an observer, I think, really is just having an awareness of those two necessary things taking place and not applying good and bad constructs to them. So like discomfort isn't really necessary, because you could be, if you accept what it is, you don't necessarily have to be uncomfortable experiencing it.
Yeah, you just see it as an experience. That's-
Exactly.
yeah, it's the same thing for me for like tripping. I don't see my trips as either good or bad now. I see them simply as an experience because I'm just being the observer of whatever is happening to me. But a lot of people like are seeing things obviously with, because this is duality, they see things as good or bad. So the best way of explaining them is kind of being like, you got to go in your uncomfortable zone to learn. And then once they get to know a little bit better, they know that this is not really an uncomfortable zone. This is just a zone.
Right, I get what you're saying. So that's the constructs that we're working with in terms of the general public.
Yeah.
And I
But in the big picture, I agree with you like 100% because that's how I see life now. And just
Right,
like,
life is a trip.
yeah, literally.
Literally.
That's yes, sir.
One
I was
hell of
saying
a
Trippy
long
knows
journey.
some shit. Trippy knows what he's talking about.
But yeah, but I agree with you from Mikey too, because like for me, if I haven't done like a lot of the things that like I used to see as very uncomfortable, like cold showers and like no fap as well, like just like challenging my body, I wouldn't have grown. the
yeah,
way
I just
did.
Yeah.
I'm just, see, the thing with me is I don't like to I don't like to sugarcoat anything. I like to be very straightforward with someone. I like to give someone an answer that they don't want to hear sometimes. I like to really give
I
them,
like the Aries in this man a
I
lot.
like to give someone an answer sometimes that's going to be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Because I've had some talks with people, and sometimes it can be you got to watch that you're not too arrogant when you say it. But I just, of course, I don't believe good and bad. There's no difference. It's the attitude you're putting towards it, right? It's they're just the same, right? You know what I'm saying? And I that's something I definitely agree on, right? But I just I mean, just trying to get out of your comfort zone and making that your natural state of who you are, so it becomes simpler, just like how your body gets used to anything you do and it just becomes easy for you. That's kind of what I was meaning by that.
It's a back door. It's the exact same thing. It's just two different ways to get there.
100%.
Sunny, do you have any other thoughts or questions or proposals for?
I think this is
anything?
fantastic.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly, I'm very satisfied with how it went, the podcast. I'm good with ending it right there, honestly.